All right, YouTube, 27th of June in the afternoon, about 5:30. And we came out, we decided we'd go ahead. We're pretty happy with what we did on the motor mounts. Thanks everybody that commented on that deal. Russ, thank you for the pictures. Mark, thanks for your input. Seb, a couple of the newer guys, I'm not sure of the names. Thank y'all all for what you helped me out with. And that's just a trip to me that there's 3 bolts in these motor mounts from the factory. But that's the way it was. So that's the way we're going to leave it. We're not going to drill and put a 4th bolt. We're going to leave it just like it was. So it won't be a high horsepower motor, so we don't have to worry about any of that mess. So that's what we're doing. Cleaning up the firewall this afternoon. We got one little area left there, but we tired and we're gonna knock off and get ready for work tomorrow. Couple of patches that we'll go over and make sure everything's good before we do any kind of body work, filler. Before we do anything, we'll make sure the sheet metal's in pretty good shape. So that's where we at, tubers. That's where we at. Right there. Just a little area left, and obviously it's the worst. It's got a bunch of holes, bunch of flanges and mess, so it'll take a little while, but we probably got about an hour and a half in what we did today. Not too bad considering all the little cracks and crevices and things. And we just took the 2 different wheels to get in there, the little roll-lock wheels. This one works real good on flat surfaces. And we just use the edge of this one to get in the cracks and stuff. Take your time, sit down, listen to the radio. It goes by pretty quick. Just pick out little sections, little areas. Concentrate on getting that area done and then move on to another area. It's not so bad. So that needed doing. And we're going to get it done. We're going to make it look real good, hopefully. And when we do, we'll bring you back. All right, tubers, Jeff Lynn's in the garage with you Thursday, June the 28th. We picked up some hardware for the motor mounts on the way home today. And we're probably going to have to modify a wrench to get in there and hold the nut. I don't think it'll be too bad. It's not anything that is very uncommon. In my line of work, industrial maintenance, we're always modifying wrenches and doing stuff, so probably won't be too bad. Driver's side will be a little worse than the passenger side. We've got a pretty big opening there. We may end up having to enlarge that one just a little bit to be able to get our wrench in, but I don't think it'll be too big of a problem. So we'll do that later on. We're going to jump back on the firewall and knock this little section out here. And right here, there was a patch put in at some point. I don't know what the deal was with that. I didn't do it, but there's a dent right here. And we may end up trying to rig something up to pull that out a little bit and do as much straightening as we can. And again, this patch isn't the best in the world. We're gonna work on it. That one over there is fairly smooth, but we'll work on this one. We'll see if we can pull the dent out of that one and make sure that that's all welded up good before we proceed with any filler or anything like that. So as we have a little, we'll bring you along and let you see it. All right, tubers, we got firewall cleaned up. Got one little patch right in that area right there that we're going to need to probably do a little straightening and probably a little more welding on. I don't know. I didn't do anything with that. That's my patch right there. And then there's one over there that we did. So this one's fine. This one is okay. We'll probably just do some more cleanup on that because I'm not sure if I did butt weld, if I overlapped that or what, but they're raised up just a touch right there especially. So we'll do a little work on that patch, and definitely we've got to do something with this one here. It's not in good shape. Even though it doesn't look that bad, it's just real thin. I'm not sure what they used on it, but I believe it's thinner than the rest of the firewall. So we may end up replacing that. We shall see. All right, Tuber, we're going to call it a day and bring you back when we have some more. All right, YouTube, it is Friday the 29th of June. We're out in the garage. We patched up our firewall. Actually, all we did was just re-weld that little small patch. The big one was good. We just cleaned it up a little more, cleaned our welds up real good. And we put a light coat of fiberglass on there, short strand fiberglass over some of the roughest weld areas. That's the only side from about midways over that we'll do anything like that. This over here, we're going to leave it. There's no bad spots, if you will. There's a lot of little holes, or not actually holes, but just the resistance weld or spot weld or pinch weld, whatever you want to call it, areas. We're going to leave that. That looks factory. That's fine. I'm not trying to make a solid, smooth firewall, but I did want it better than it was. Once this starts drying up pretty good, we'll come back and knock it down a little bit, get some of the ridges off. And the plan is then to spray this thing with some epoxy. Once the epoxy gets dry, we're going to scuff it a little bit and do whatever little bit of body filler we're going to do to smooth it out. And then we'll put a good coat of primer on there and probably leave it with the primer. Not sure. The other thing after we did that while it's drying is we went ahead and mounted our motor mounts. We just had them sitting in there with the bolts in. Tubers, it was a lot easier to take this long 9/16 wrench, put a piece of electrical tape around it, and I left that sticking out. Put my bolt in and then wrap that electrical tape up and just pinched it in on the threads. And then I ran the bolt in through these holes and come up through the subframe, dropped the motor mount on and nutted it up. Piece of cake, took 5 minutes at the most. Same deal on both sides. This side we had to come up through the bottom with the bottom one. That's the only difference. Other than that, it was a piece of cake. I thought it was going to be really bad, but it turned out to be really easy. The only difference is that I came up through the bottom or the inside with the bolts, nutted it up from the outside. I don't see an issue with that at all. I've been nutting and bolting stuff for 40 years or more. Either way, the only thing is if once I tighten it down, if some of this bolt happens to be in the way of anything, which I don't think it will, we can take our little cut-off wheel and trim them back some. That seems to be fine. It is what it is. They're on. That's the main thing. All right, tubers, we're going to get out of here today. We got all day tomorrow. We're going to come out here and try to get the firewall finished, get the subframe back under the car, and hopefully next week as we go in the afternoons, we're going to start putting the car on together, making sure everything fits. We've got some brackets and stuff we need to sandblast and paint. So we'll be doing some of that. A lot of little things, tubers, a ton of little things. It's when you start and get to thinking about all the stuff, it's just wild how much there is. But that's all part of it. Rome wasn't built in a day. This car probably was originally, but not this time. All right, we'll bring it on. All right, tubers, Jeff Lynn's in the garage. We is Saturday, the last day of June. Halfway through the year. I lost a clip of doing some epoxy and some filler, and I thought I had it, but I don't have it. I can't find it. Anyway, I came out here this morning and shot the first coat of primer on there, and I was going to just kind of look back and check, and I missed it. So I don't know what I did, if I deleted it somehow, but anyway, that is a shot with one coat of primer on the firewall, and I must say I'm surprised that it looks as good as it does. I blocked on this thing right here and blocked on this thing, and I blocked till I was sick of doing it. But it's 1,000 times better than it was. It's way better than looking at that delete plate thing that was on there. And I think by the time we get about 2 or 3 coats of primer on there and then go back over it, it'll be in pretty good shape. So that's what we're up to today. I really wasn't worried about getting any overspray up underneath, because once I'm done with the firewall, I'm gonna tape off the firewall in this area right here. Put a good hard line across there, and then I'm gonna come back and shoot that underside with one little layer of the Raptor liner just to finish it off and make sure we protect it good up underneath right there. So that's what we're up to. We'll shoot some more primer in a few minutes, bring you back, let you look at the final shot, and we'll figure out something to do from there. All right, we'll bring you along. All right, tubers. That's 2 good coats of high build primer. I think that's what it said on the jug. All right, pretty happy with that. Looks pretty dang good. Looks all right to me. All right, YouTube, we'll do some more and bring you back.